take your malware sample and it will reorganize its instructions in a way as to make it difficult for it to be detectable by antivirus tools and anti-spyware tools. And as you can see right here, it's pretty simple to use. I just added my executable and I will check what kind of obfuscation I want. Okay? And I click build and boom, I have a stealthy malware sample. Icon cloners. We judge our files quite often by their icons, right? So, if I want to be spreading malware, I want to make sure that my executables have a convincing looking icons. Icons that look legit. So let's say I just use a binder to produce an executable that contains malicious binaries bundled together with legit binaries. The next thing I want to do is I want to make it look convincing. So I can use an icon cloner in order to change the icon into a legitimate icon. People, when they see the Windows logo, they say, oh, this must be something coming from Microsoft. And by the way, I do have prices for those. I'm not selling them, but the binders go for 50 to 100 bucks. Obfuscators can get between can go for 20 and 100 bucks. Icon cloners, they're generally pretty cheap because icon cloning is not that hard thing to do. Okay? Here is another one, downloaders, or to put it more precisely, stealthy downloaders. When an infection gets into your computer, the first thing that it tries to do is download other infections. So downloader is a tool which allows you to stealthily plant malware on the system and then have it download other malware. So this way you can keep infecting the same system for quite a while. Those can go for 25 bucks to 100 bucks. Now, also look at this. It also has obfuscation functionality. Do I want this to be non-detectable by Kaspersky antivirus? Do I want it to defy debugging? Do I want it to debug to defy the Nubis antivirus? And do I want this malware not to run in a sandbox environment? So basically, all of those are features to defy analysis. Okay? Now, another one is seed boxes. If I'm going to be spreading malware, I need a place to upload it. I need a place to post all the malware samples I distribute. Well, one example is seed boxes. Seed boxes are not products, but they're rather services to the affiliates. They can be used, they're basically BitTorrent-enabled servers that affiliates can use to upload their binaries. So they would have to use their own storage space and their own bandwidth in order to host their malware. Now, so another one is proxy servers. Proxy servers are basically systems which affiliates can use to attack other systems. If I attack other systems directly, people can trace that attack back to me. Proxy servers are kind of a man in the middle. I would attack my victim system through the proxy server. So if somebody is able to trace that attack back, they won't be able to trace it back to me, they'll trace it back to the proxy server. Okay? So, now, one way in which this could be useful is that some BitTorrent sites will ban accounts for abuse, such as spreading malware. And proxy servers can be used to hide the IPs of the abusers. Alright? Another one is mass torrent submitters. Remember how we said that BitTorrent is a popular vehicle for distributing malware samples? Well, you want to be able to submit your malware sample to as many BitTorrent sites as you can. Once again, that's hard work. Why not automate that? Why not automate the process? So, a mass torrent submitter allows you to take your malware sample and automatically submit it to thousands of BitTorrent sites in one simple click. Alright? Another one is web exploit kits. Remember how we talked about hacking into websites and planting malicious codes? Web exploit kits allow you to do just that. They're basically little exploits which you can inject into the websites, and they contain functionality such as, for example, tracking statistics, such as the number of people you have infected that have visited the compromised website. It can also be configured to download and install other kinds of malware onto the website. Some of the popular ones include Neosploit, NukePax, and UniquePack. Those can be pretty expensive. They can go from $50 to $1,000. I've actually, in my practice, I reverse engineered a few of those. It was pretty astounding just how featureful they actually are. Yeah. And yet how simple they are to use. So, right? Instant messaging spammers. Now, instant messaging is another popular way in which affiliates spread malware. Now, this is a good way of spreading malware because let's say you get an instant message through Skype, through Gtalk, through AIM, whatever instant messaging service you use, and you get it from one of your buddies. You trust your buddies, right? Well, that's why instant messaging is a good way for spreading malware. Affiliate would plant an instant message spammer onto your system. The malware would hijack your instant messenger and then send messages to your buddies advertising malicious links and binaries. Well, your buddies trust you, right? They would click on those links. So they're exploiting trust. And they're available these days at Yahoo, MSN, ICQ, Skype, pretty much every single kind of instant messaging application out there. A funny story, or actually sad story, one time I got an MSN instant message from my grandfather saying that he found this really cool website, I should check it out. I said, huh, you know, really? You know, I was playing along. And I said that, how is it? You know, I said, and how's your internet connectivity here? You know, he said, oh, it was good, you know, and so I talked to him for a while, and then, you know, I tell him, wow, I didn't know they had web and internet connectivity where you are. He says, why? Because my grandfather died 3 years ago. Yeah, I don't know if it's a funny story or a sad story, but somebody hijacked my deceased grandfather's MSN account and was, yeah. So, I would trust my grandpa, right? So, and the average price for those is around $80, okay? Another one is website credentials. So, people actually sell stolen website credentials. Now, why would they do that? Well, once again, people trust your Facebook page, right? So, if somebody steals your Facebook credentials, they can sell them to the affiliate, so the affiliate can use it to post malicious links and malware onto your Facebook pages. And here are some examples. So, you can, in a known incident, buy some credentials for cPanel, which is one of the administration consoles, for 700,000 servers for as low as $120. cPanel is an administrative console. 700,000 servers for $120. Now, here is a very interesting discussion taking place where one guy says, I have Facebook, MySpace, Hive logins, how many do you need? And he is telling him how much he needs. This is basically a forum discussion where an affiliate is purchasing, stalling accounts for social networks. This is a transaction taking place. Another popular thing to steal, to purchase stolen quantities of, are the email credentials. Why? Because same thing as for social networks. If somebody compromises your email password, they can sell it to affiliates, and affiliates will use it to send malicious links and binaries to other people. I have a student for my operating systems course. I keep getting those kinds of things from him. I mailed back to him saying your account has been compromised, but you see my mail bounces back because his inbox is full. So, yeah, Google has blocked him out, right? So, Now, the cool thing about affiliates, anyhow, about buying stolen credentials, when I buy somebody's, for example, stolen email credentials, really, am I just buying credentials to their email? What do people do nowadays? They reuse user's name and passwords, right? So when I buy your email credentials, I could also be buying your banking credentials at the same time. Pretty sweet deal, right? So, now, so to summarize, PPI services, they streamline the process of distributing malware. The chain is alive and well, and it's likely to last for many years, because everybody involved benefits quite immensely. This encourages distribution of malware. It also makes it more dangerous for users. And that's how most malware is distributed nowadays. It's not distributed by one guy who is sitting in his dark basement and planting malware in distant servers. No, it's being spread by those guys for profit. Now, before I end, I would like to quickly talk about some efforts that have been done to study and some ideas about battling PPI networks. So, a paper titled "The Underground Economy of Paper-Installed Networks" was presented at Black Hat. Okay? So, actually, yes, at Black Hat. So, a few researchers, they studied the inner workings of multiple PPI networks by joining as affiliates. They have infiltrated the networks. So they studied the dynamics of how they operate and how they spread malware. Okay? Another paper, which was published by a group in, I believe, in Berkeley, called "Measuring Paper-Installed Commonization of Malware Distribution," they set up a comprehensive system, a comprehensive distributed system, which posed as a victim to the PPI networks. And it was, quote-unquote, milking them for binaries. They wanted to see what kind of malware they spread, what kind of tactics they use. So they made some very interesting discoveries. I highly recommend reading both of those papers. They're pretty fascinating. So the Black Hat work was an example of a top-down infiltration, because they got it from the top. You know, they started at the top and they went, and they went down. In case of paper install, it was bottom-up. They were the victim. They were at the bottom. So that was a bottom-up study. Both revealed some very interesting findings. So stopping those guys is going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. But as this paper concludes, the best way for stopping PPI networks is not taking down the websites, which has been done many times, because as soon as you take down one PPI network website, what do kingpins and affiliates do? They pick up and go elsewhere. They would just rise from their ashes like the Phoenix bird, right? Now, the key strategy is to actually go in after the people who are running those networks, the kingpins and the affiliates. Now, there are a lot of questions about PPI networks that I still would like to see answered. The questions to which I haven't seen any detailed answers. There has been a lot of study on the technological aspects of PPI networks, but there hasn't been any study on the human aspects of the network. Who are these people? Are we talking about groups of people that are resident in the same place, or are we talking thousands of people who are distributed all throughout the world? Based on this, depends the answer, how do we combat them? All right? So, this basically concludes my talk. If you're interested in any of the materials in this presentation, I have left the citations. So, I highly encourage you to check out all of those links. You will learn quite a lot. So, well, thanks so much for listening, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you for this very interesting presentation. In this presentation, you show a very good business model for bad guys. So bad guys have a lot of opportunity to use their talent, make good money. So I wonder whether there is a business model for the good guy. So with the security knowledge, you can go in and make money too, and then maybe destroy the bad guy. So is there any kind of the model for the good guy?
Absolutely. The ECS, Offensive Security Society, which is our student club, who are basically doing things just like that. So Patrick was here, Patrick Sampello. He was one of the members of the team who won the forensics competition. So that's a community of people who reverse engineer malicious software in order to find out what it does. As far as, on a more serious note, as far as a more organized effort, those guys are basically being taken on by the academic researchers, such as we see in those papers. Symantec is very interested in them. McAfee has done some research on them as well. But I'm not aware of any community that is organized in the same way as a PPI network. Which would be an interesting thing to explore. Is there a way to set up an equally profitable network for battling those guys?
Right.
Where everybody involved benefits.
Money is a biggest motivation. If there's money, it's hard for people to spend effort.
Exactly.
As a good guy, in the end of the day, I mean, you need to make money too.
Right, exactly, because money is what makes it all go around. Now, one thing I could think of is the bug bounty programs. Basically, they're programs hosted by Google, Microsoft, Mozilla, where if you find a vulnerability and you report it, they can give you money. That's one thing I know. But the thing is, to participate in those programs, you really need to be an experienced developer. You got to know how computers work. Whereas anybody can join a PPI network. You don't have to be tech savvy. So, yeah. I think the answer is we don't have a satisfactory community to take on those guys.
There was this commercial, join this team if you're interested.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. We're out of time, unfortunately. Thank you so much again.
Absolutely.
And
thank you.